the Be More Show. Coming through strong with that podcast flow. Sunday afternoon at 2 to 3 p.m. slot. Got the Interstate 95 Turnpike hot. When you tune in, they don't just entertain. They come with the message that presses the brain. Those other podcasts, they seem microscopic. Cause they're the big dogs that drop the hot topics. So sure, Be More Dumb, you just stay ready. For DJ Boom, Shaheem, and Ordemi. Put them together, there's a treacherous three. From the tri-state area to the DMV. So sit back, relax, get your Sundays on after morning, gone before dawn. That positive vibe that we hitting so strong. With this podcast show, you can't go wrong. So, here we go, here we go.
Oh, here we go. Here we go, here we go.
What's up, everybody? Happy New Year to everybody out there, to all our fans. It's good to see everybody back with us again as we kick off 2023.
2023.
I am the one and only MC Shaheem.
And of course, I am the official DJ Boom.
Deborah Singletary, a.k.a. Aunt Debbie.
The one
All right,
and
all right.
only.
The treacherous three of the DMV. And yes, we are back again for everybody. We are hoping that everybody out there had a safe and wonderful holiday season. It's good to be back. I know I did. How was your holiday season, Boom?
I have been having a fantastic time, living my best life like it's golden. Like, as you can see, my Packers is about to go into the playoffs. I thought the season was done, but here we stand. Here we stand, about to make it do what it do.
Yeah, I'm paying attention. A lot of people counting them out, but they seem to have picked it up late in the season, and well, they in the mix.
Yeah, I listen. I'm one of the ones. I'm like, okay, let's tank this season. Let's go into next season. just make it the best we can. But I'm back.
Yeah, lo and behold, they're doing their thing. So hats off to the Green Bay Packers.
Gotta give them the horns because they making it do what it do.
Oh, Debbie, how was your holiday season?
Full of self-reflection, quiet fire, joy, safe. I enjoyed it.
Reflection is a good thing.
It is. There's actually an art to self-reflection. And, one day I will either give a class on it, how to reflect on yourself in a way that is not blaming or putting yourself down. It's
sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good that we're talking about reflection because we're actually going to be reflecting today. And we're going to be reflecting on 2022. It was a big year.
2022. First of all, we're in 2023. And that's some amazing stuff there. It's 2023.
It's 2023 now, yeah.
Wow. They set it for Back to the Future when they went to the future. They went from 1985 to 2005.
Really?
It was 20 years into the future. They had floating skateboards and all this futuristic stuff on Back to the Future, and clearly it is not like that. No, it was 2015. I'm sorry, not 2005. It was 2015. And yet, we have none of that stuff.
Not yet, but I tell you what, with technology the way it is, there's some big things on the horizon. I think we can all agree on that. Technology is really taking off.
Well, we didn't have smartphones in 2015. I mean, we didn't have, well, maybe we did. We didn't have smart TVs.
We didn't have smart TVs, no. And the phones didn't do everything they do now, I don't believe.
Right.
But
they didn't do everything.
And now, I don't know about everybody else out there, but I hate to admit, but I rely entirely on my phone for almost everything.
Listen, I live and breathe by my phone right now. I can't function without it, and not because I need to be on it. It's just what it does for me. You know, the organization, the keeping things. I was asked to pick up medicine when I'm leaving my sipping paint tonight, and set the reminder to pick up medicine. You know what I mean? 'Cause I'll forget. But this phone has helped me become very, very organized. So I'm definitely grateful. Definitely grateful.
Yeah. And I said something interesting. Now I'm thinking back. I said I was almost ashamed of it. But then again, in this new generation, I don't think there's any shame in it. It's just the world of today. If any shame is because of the world back in the day, we kept a lot of information here. We did a lot of things with this up here. It's not the same anymore.
No, we didn't. We used appointment books.
Appointment books. Does anybody remember the Rolodex?
And this is a 2023 appointment book, whatever.
What's a Rolodex? I've never heard of it. I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's the
A
point.
Rolodex is a contraption where you have cards, but you roll it and the card pops up.
Absolutely. Yep. These kids ain't gonna never.
And you kept, I guess, all your contacts. Really, all your contacts were in there, and you rolled through them and you flipped through them. Yeah, I know. I'm going back in time for people, but what made me really bring it up is not just this conversation we have, but also the fact that I saw on the news just this morning that the phone companies are finally doing away with the 411 system.
Really?
Yes, they are.
I didn't know
It is obsolete now.
You can't dial 411?
Not if you have AT&T, and I'm sure other companies are going to follow. I think they're going to do it Monday, starting Monday. And they made a good point. First of all, like we just talked about, everybody used their phones. But they said in the 1970s, there were 400,000 operators on the 411 line. Now there are only 4,000.
Wow.
So they're going to get rid of the 411. And for all our young people out there, can one of my hosts please explain to them what the 411 system was?
Well,
don't ask me, because that was before my time.
Mary J explained it best. What's the 411, hon? No, listen. That was a system that you could pick up the phone, you can dial 411, you can get all types of information. Restaurant,
telephone numbers.
Telephone numbers, yep.
That as well, yep. 411 had all the information. You just got to ask the right questions.
Yeah, but it was primarily for telephone numbers. So if I wanted to go to Chino's restaurant in Brooklyn, I would call 411, tell them the borough, tell them the name of the restaurant, and they would give me the information. They didn't so much in those days. You couldn't call and say, where's a restaurant in my area? You couldn't do that. You really had to know whether you were asking for a business or an individual.
Yeah, that too.
And this brings up another interesting point, and I don't want to get too far off the show because I want to get into things. But me and my wife were talking about this a day or two ago. The fact that in the future, or because of all these tech devices, that personal touch, that personal communication, that one-on-one that we used to have with each other, it doesn't exist anymore, or slowly fading away. You don't even meet any people if you're single out there. You know what I'm talking about. You don't meet people the way you used to. Everything's done online. Even the 411 system, you're not calling a person who's on another line for the information that you're getting it off your phones. A lot of that personal touch, that one-on-one communication is just gone. Even grocery shopping now, and I see more and more people doing it because I know some of my friends even convinced me to do it, to do the grocery shopping where you just go pick it up or they have it delivered or whatever, you know.
So my perception of that is that they're just making everybody stay home. They're creating this world where nobody's gonna be in touch with each other for real. Because outside of doing video calling, that's why video calling was introduced. There will be no real interacting with each other because you don't have to.
Right.
You can sit at home and you can order your food and you can work from home and you can do all this stuff at home. So that's what the inception of all of this is for. To me, is to keep people away from each other. Even the introduction of whether people like it or not, even the introduction of this whole COVID thing.
Of what? I'm sorry.
Where did my hosts go? Here they are.
I was going to say this whole inception of COVID and don't touch and wear a mask and blah 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 blah. All that is part of the whole plot to keep people separated.
Do you remember? I don't know if my co-hosts, you guys have seen this movie, a movie called WALL-E that came out years ago.
WALL-E, the animated.
I can see that. Did you see that movie, or Debbie?
No.
Well, in this particular movie, it predicted the future, and in this future, it predicted that we would all be obese because we didn't move as much. We'd be eating all the wrong things. On and on and on. The trash that we accumulated finally built up and took over the planet. A lot of, and I can see a lot of the things in that movie playing out now. It's insane.
If you think about, I don't know if you've ever seen Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes.
I remember the movie. I don't remember seeing the whole movie. I think Wesley Snipes came back alive, or something like that.
Out of cryostasis, they froze him and they froze Stallone, and that year was 2005. And that they had people, they didn't touch, the virtual thing. They had sex virtually. There was no bodily fluids being, so there was no kissing.
Right.
They did like this to do high fives, to clap hands. This was the clap hands. And I said, wow, look at this. Look at this being introduced now. Because this is how people doing now. They don't want to touch the door to open the door. They don't want to do, use their foot to do this and blah, blah, blah. Yo, germs been here for forever. Germs will outlast us. So, all the stuff that y'all doing, do it if that's what makes you feel better. But come on.
Yeah, I see the future playing out. It's a little crazy to watch it, but I've lived on this planet long enough where I've lived to see quite a few things. Now, I'm not 80 years old, obviously, but even in my short time, I've seen such a great change in the world in just a short time that I've been here. Before we jump into what we're talking about today, though, I just want to mention my New York Giants. I absolutely have to do that. They're playing the Philadelphia Eagles today. I want to wish them luck. It's a big game. Well, we're in the playoffs, so it's not that big of a game. But anytime we get the chance to whoop up on the Eagles, I want to take full advantage of it. So I hope we win.
Well, obviously, you're a Giants fan, so you are going to think they're going to do it. But no. Not with Hurt coming back. Hurts is back, so I don't know.
Hurts is back, yeah.
But
I don't expect them to play him the full game. They need him for the playoffs too.
Right. Yeah, I gave them a chance without him, but he's back.
Yeah,
so
he is back. And since we're in the NFL, let's all recognize the young man, Damar Hamlin, who was injured on Monday Night Football. I was watching that game. Sorry, guys, I'm wrestling with something. I was watching that game on Monday night when that happened. And I've been watching football since the 70s, since I was a little boy. I've never seen nothing like that.
Right. No.
I've never seen nothing like that.
It must have affected you.
I'm sorry.
Affect you? Like, how did you feel when you saw that?
I'm going to be honest. It traumatized me because, like I said, it was the first time it happened. Nobody, including network TV, was prepared for it. So all of us, millions of fans, including kids, it was a big game. It was a huge game. Millions of people watching. We almost saw this young man die on the field that day.
He did. They just resuscitated him.
That messed me up. That messed me up. And like a lot of people, because like I said, people had their kids at the game.
Right. Kids
were watching. It was a huge game. And we were all affected. We were all affected by it. It was horrifying to watch. So I want to recognize the young man, Damar Hamlin, number 3 for the Buffalo Bills. And I hope he understands, and everybody out there understands his recovery is also going to be part of our recovery from the trauma of it all. So we want him to get better. We wish him all the best, and he's getting better. Thank God for that. And we wish him all the best. I think from all three of us, right?
Absolutely.
Ashe.
Absolutely.
All right. All right. That being said, let's jump into it. 2022. It was a big year for us. We started this podcast.
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
was great. Which was a big deal. Yeah. That's a big deal.
Absolutely.
That's right. We started this journey. Boom and I started it on Debbie. We brought you in a little later, but we've all been on this journey for a long time. It's been a lot of fun.
Every minute of it, I'm having a ball. Clearly, I wouldn't miss it, and you guys have been able to see me in so many different environments as I still be DJ Boom and still handle my responsibility of being on this show.
You the man.
Yeah. It's been an interesting journey. It's been a good journey though, and we were looking forward to bigger, better things in 2023.
Absolutely, it's a lot of big things down the pipe from the show to be more. So I hope y'all are ready to make this do what it do and go on that national level.
That's right. That's right. And we want to see more contribution this year from you guys out there. Again, if you have suggestions or ideas for shows, please share them with us. We want you guys to really be involved in every step of the way this year. It's important to us. So if you have comments you want to post, please post them. If you want to call in, we got to get that line established again, but you'll be able to call in to talk to us. Or just reach out to us in general. We want you guys to be a lot more involved in the show this year.
So we started the show with the idea of two guys coming together with something to say.
Right.
And
I'm going to step away for 1 second. I just want to grab some water. I'll be right back.
We have grown in adding the wonderful Aunt Debbie, because you folks wanted her, and we went and got her.
So why did you add me?
We did a what was the show that we did that we had you on as a guest? I can't even remember the show that we did that we had you on as a guest, and the response from everyone having you on was the reason I had to reach back out and say, hey, how you feel about being a part of the show on a full-time basis? Because the people loved you. I mean, I loved you anyway, but the people loved it. So the response from the people is what made me reach out to have Aunt Debbie brought to the show. And here we are. And in 2023, as he said, we will be growing even more.
That is definitely the goal. So we're looking forward to a greater 2023. 2022 was a busy year on a lot of levels. So many things happened. Here's something that sticks in my mind that I want to bring up, and then we could go over some more events of 2022. Will Smith. Y'all know where I'm going with this. Will Smith, who I think we probably can all agree had one of the better careers for African-American men in Hollywood, was one of the big stars out there in LA, slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars this last year. Everybody remember that?
I remember.
I think that traumatized a lot of people. It definitely shook up the world. And
Didn't do nothing to me. I don't know why it was such a big deal. It didn't do nothing to me. Whatever.
Well, it was a big deal for a lot of things. It was a big moment, not just for Will Smith being nominated and receiving an Oscar, but for Black people too. I mean, let's not forget that he wasn't the only African American who was receiving an Oscar. Questlove from the group The Roots. Now I know you respect him.
Absolutely.
Was receiving. Chris Rock was actually announcing the fact that Questlove had won his Oscar after so many years of hard work, and that moment was stolen from him. because of Will. So this impacted a lot of people. I know, Boom, you probably don't give a damn, but a lot of people did, and a lot of people were watching, including me and my wife. A lot of people were hurt when that happened. Not just Chris Rock. I saw the trauma in some of the people who watched it go down in the theater, or it was on their faces. You could see it. You clearly see it. And
so why hurt? Why were we hurt?
To see that, I think for a lot of people, I can't explain why any particular person, but I think for a lot of people, first, the shock of it all, especially from a guy, Will Smith, who's not known for violence, and then to see it play out on a national stage, and knowing what a lot of people think of our community, to see that moment play out on a national, in front of everybody like that, I think it bothered a lot of people. And so that's the way I think it probably hurts some of us.
It clearly bothered a lot of people. It was clear that it bothered millions of people. Again, I'm always looking at the why, not the result. Why did he get up and do that? You know, who knows if he had a conversation with him before saying, keep my wife's name out your mouth, keep my name out your mouth, blah, blah, blah. We don't know none of that. All we know is the reaction to it. And we say, ooh, he shouldn't have did that. Well, listen, if he told him, cut it out, and you still want to go there, okay, so I'm going to take it there. All right, now you deal with the consequences of your action. But, you know, so that's how I see things. It is what it is. We don't know what.
There is the sense that when we're angry, the anger could give us the false sense of righteousness that we can do anything we want because we're angry. And even if he had asked Chris Rock and Chris Rock ignored him, that wasn't the platform to play it out on. Because when you're a public person, you're not there just for yourself, you're there for everyone. And what he showed young boys and girls is that when you get angry, you lash out. So we live in a world where violence is normalized in wars, and both physical wars and economic wars and political wars, and they're contributing to the idea that there's no way to resolve a conflict than to hit somebody and to try to shame them publicly, and we ended up shaming yourself.
I'm glad you brought that point up, because at the end of the day, I don't believe Chris Rock's career-wise was hurt by it at all. I think if anything, he got a boost. And Will Smith's career, I think, on the other hand, was greatly impacted. He released the movie, I think,
movie out, right? That's why he got
November,
a new movie.
I think it was. It was called Emancipation, I think.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I can't think of not one single person who saw that movie or was even thinking about watching it. And that's sad. That's sad, because he was one of the bigger names in Hollywood. And it's sad for another reason. Now, I don't want to sound like I feel sorry for Will Smith. And maybe in some kind of way I do, but overall, no. But I feel sorry for the other contributors to the film, because a lot of people, not just Will Smith, worked on that film. And because of his actions, they all suffered.
He's an industry. When you're in that business, you're an industry. And he hurt his industry.
Yes.
By that.
Yes. And so I feel bad for those people who worked on that film, because his actions greatly impacted that film. And I don't know anybody who saw it.
Well, he had to have lost his mind, because it's not even as if they were, face to face, and then he did it. To get up from your seat and walk across what you have to up on the stage. That is a high level of arrogance. And what was pushing it and motivating it, I'll bet, was more than the Chris Rock. I think there was something.
There was something building in Will.
For him to not to get up and walk across the stage.
Yeah.
The level of defeatism you have to already have in you, and I
Mm.
see it as defeatism that will show his helplessness more than he showed any strength.
Well,
Would you say?
I
Go
can't
ahead.
understand a film that grossed $316 million, people not seeing it. So
Oh,
people
it
saw it
did?
somewhere.
It did well?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Somebody did, yeah.
They
Well,
got
his
they got six
PR,
out of ten, 6 out of 10 for IB. So it's, it is what it is. I didn't watch it.
so it did well.
I don't watch slave movies, period. I don't watch any of that stuff.
Yeah,
So I don't care who is in it.
yeah.
Do
I'm
me a
not gonna
favor when you
watch
get a chance, though, too. See how much it cost to make that film.
120 million.
120.
Right. So they doubled their money.
I mean, I noticed his PR people at work. You could tell because he did a couple of
Oh yeah,
things.
they
They
had
had
to.
damage control when and that's what happens
And
with
it,
people.
I'm sorry, but and it was also released on a streaming platform. So people didn't
Mhm,
have to physically get up out their homes, I believe, and go to a theater to see it. I think that would have made all the
mhm.
difference too. Who released it, Boom? Can you say? And then we'll move on.
Let me see.
Was it Prime or
Hold on, let me go back. Apple TV.
Apple TV? So it was released on Apple TV, which is Apple is a big streaming platform.
Right.
So I think if it was released in theaters, I think it would have greatly impacted.
Yeah, I
Well,
think still would have went to see it.
but let's move on because there was a lot of things that happened last year. And then you mentioned on war, the war in Ukraine. That was another big event last year. One that I think a lot of people in the world was surprised by. Maybe a lot of people weren't. The Russians aren't necessarily known for telling the truth. And when they said they wouldn't do it, I don't think anybody was really believing them. And damn if they didn't do it.
So does anybody know where it stands now?
From my understanding, they're kind of at a stalemate right now. There's going to be a big offensive because right now it's the middle of winter, and winter over there ain't like the winter over here. And they're kind of bogged down right now. And everybody's expecting this big offensive once the weather starts warming. The bombing is still going on. Russia's still bombing poor Ukraine, and I want to recognize those people. And I think the hearts of the world are with them. They had to go through the holiday season, Christmas, and everything, and they're just living their lives on a daily basis, being bombed every day. Oh man, in this country, we couldn't imagine something like that.
Absolutely not. Yeah,
Living in the dark. I'm sorry.
We use our power. I mean, it's a power play, right? And it's painful for me to see that people can be powerful and mentally ill and run their countries, and that they are bullies. But not only are they bullying the Ukraines, Russia, I mean, or Putin in particular, but they're really bullying the world.
Yes.
You mean nobody can go up to him and say, stop that, Putin.
Yeah.
They need somebody's grandma to go up there and talk some sense into that man.
Will Smith,
boy,
Will Smith, man. Will Smith.
All right, that's funny and not funny.
Well, so the idea that when people feel that they're right, they feel that they're right makes them right. And I think that's something that we can all take away from this, that when we feel angry, just because it's a powerful feeling, it doesn't mean our feelings are right. Our feelings are information, and might does not make right. Although when we're feeling those emotions, we feel that it does. That we need a new way of understanding power as not power over other people. Power
Right.
in regards to robbing people of money, whether you're a man on the street or the politicals or the corporate structure. We need to think of power from, and we tend to think of power in a very limited, restricted way as dominating others.
Right.
Yeah,
That's how it's taught. If you have power, you're empowered over something, whether it's people or even your dog.
Mhm.
That's how it's taught.
Mhm.
It's not taught the way that we're talking
Mhm.
about it right now.
the
I've
very
had it.
idea that
Go
another
ahead.
country can just simply attack another country for nothing because they might want their land or something, and now on both sides, people are dying, people are losing their lives over seamlessly. Nothing is incredible to me in this day and age. There's been enough bloodshed throughout the history of this world. We should know better as human beings, as a people, and no, greed is incredible emotion.
And I don't know how I can personally impact Putin and the war, but I think that when we're looking at examples like that, that we need to bring it home and ask ourselves, where are we running roughshod over other people? Like, for example, I was talking to my guy,
Good point.
and I had to say to him, "You're a man, and your voice is stronger than mine. So if we're supposed to be having dialogue, and you use your voice to overpower me, and I'm going to end up sounding like, and he's going boom, boom, boom. That means I can't get in.
Right.
I can't get in there. So very often, people who are articulate
Mhm.
use the power of their voices, whether it's loud or just they're good with their words, to overpower people. So I
Mhm.
think, and I know me, when I get excited, you probably have seen it too often, my voice is going to raise. And often I say to myself, Deb, put more air in your voice. But I think that there's a way that we are violent against people in our families. Parents are often violent against their children.
Kids.
And so some of those same people who go police brutality may have hit their child before their child walked out the door. I know my mother was an activist. And, we marched, we shall overcome, and all of that. If anybody had put a hand on her children, any policeman, Doris would have gone ballistics, but she beat us. It's because we're. So I think we really need to understand how violence operates in our everyday lives. And
Good point.
before we pass judgment, or as we pass judgment on Putin.
It's a good point. Point well taken. I hope Vladimir Putin was listening.
Well, I hope we're listening. I hope we're listening, and I hope that men who have physical power and the power of the voice are understanding the ways in which they might be tyrannical towards women who don't have that kind of physical power. And I have a private conversation with the women about the kind of power that we do have. But I hope we take this home to heart, and that we notice when we are overbearing on other people because we think we're right.
Good advice. Good advice. Something we should all take heed to.
When I know I'm right.
Only when you know right?
What I'm saying, see what I'm saying? He's trying to get me to yell at him on this podcast, and he don't know. Okay, let's go now. Let's go there. And you'll be sorry.
Right, I know. I'm not scared though, not no more. I used to be. I'm not scared no more.
Well, before
Well,
you two go at it, I want to bring on up a couple more big events of last year.
yeah, change the subject.
Don't make me call Will Smith now. Come on.
Listen, don't let
I
me
don't
get
know.
on the Amtrak.
I think Aunt Debbie could take him.
I believe it too. To be honest.
But last year, it seems like it was such a violent year. I want to point that out too. And because of the war in Ukraine, that's one thing. But let's talk about events right here at home. Mass shootings. There were a few of them last year. I'm sad to say. I'm very sad to say, but there were a few of them last year. I want to point out two that stuck in my mind. First, the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. That was one of the most horrible things I've ever seen. The country,
Absolutely.
the world has ever seen. Let's say that. It ain't just me. Not just
19 people lost their lives,
right,
including the shooter.
and were slaughtered. Let's say that. Let's say that. And it was that. It was that which was horrible enough, but just the way that the police department handled it, the way they handled it was just horrific. Horrific. And I believe, I'm not sure, because like a lot of things over time, it tends to get away from you. But I believe that those in the police department and governing bodies that were responsible for the response are just finally now starting to feel the wrath of justice. And I hope they pay for their actions. But it was just the most horrible thing to play out in front of the country.
I just read an article that the young man who did the shooting, his mother was just arrested for threatening the man that she threatened to kill the man.
I'm sorry, say that again, Boom.
His mother, the young man that did all the shooting, his mother was just recently arrested for threatening the man that she lives with, threatening to kill him. So when I saw that, see, I'm always thinking about the why. It's unfortunate that happened. Do not get me wrong, but I'm always thinking about the why. So this little guy just woke up today and just was like, "I'm gonna do this," or what led up to that particular day. It's highly unfortunate. So to hear that, and that's how his mother is acting.
Well, I think a lot of things went wrong. Not just in the home, but the fact that the young man had access to such a powerful weapon. That's a whole nother conversation. But, the gun laws in this country, in my opinion, and it's okay if people disagree, but the gun laws in this country are a little ridiculous to me. I understand part of the argument that the other side have, because I've been to very rural areas in my life where if you're out in the country and out in the dark like that, you might want a weapon in your house for sure. The police can't necessarily just up and get to you like that. So you want a gun in your house. I only question, and this is me talking, the reason why we need machine guns. It's a little crazy to me. But that was definitely a horrible event. But along with that, the shooting of the black people in the Buffalo supermarket also stands out of my mind. Horror. The man basically went hunting, just like the other shooter, went hunting for people to shoot down and murder. That was all that was on his mind, was I want to kill black people.
So I think what I would want to touch on is mental illness. Because we can't look at these shootings in a rational way. We could bring Will Smith in on this. There is such a thing as a mental illness, but some of that mental illness is created by the culture. It may also be created by the foods that have been engineered for us to eat. Our diets are horrific. There's the very, 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 very rich and the very, 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 very poor. There's a lack of meaning. We live in a culture of violence that our nation's control through violence. If there's a problem, they want to bring the police in. So we believe in violence, but we want to keep violence, but we want to contain violence. It's just going to get away. We live in a culture of violence, and I would ask all of us to begin to consider being loving and being peace. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. I think we need to start in our own homes. It's so easy to look out and see what other people are doing and go, ooh, child, you see how they do that. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin in my home, in my heart.
That's right.
That is what my logo, my motto for DJ is: bringing love back to the parties. I think that that whole love element is out the door. You know, when you play a slow song or a love song these days, people look at, well, not now, because I created my own environment, but in the environments that people didn't want to hear that type of stuff, they look at you and like, ain't nobody here in love, and they're mad. Like, so a love song just made you mad. You know, you think about that. So a love song just made you mad because nobody in here is in love. So that upset you. That's deep to me. You know what I mean? I think very deeply about stuff, but that's deep to me. So that's my motto of DJing, bringing love back to the parties. Everything I do is a reflection of love. Point blank, period. Everything that I do, my R&B Saturdays is to bring the love of music back, introduce that back to people, and get that feeling of love, not being in love, just love. You know what I mean? Be happy when you go home. Be happy knowing that you're coming up here and you're going to listen to some good music, and not because you're just going to come and get intoxicated and you're going to go home and beat your wife afterwards, or you're cheating on your husband because he didn't. No, bring that element of love to things. This event this afternoon will be all about love.
And I want to hear more about that event. And I also want to take an opportunity to share that love is not a passive feeling and it's not an emotion. When people think of love, they think of something weak. It takes more intelligence and power to love than it does to hit somebody upside the head. That doesn't take any intelligence. And love is not an emotion, it's an expression of your chief values. So if I love you, then it doesn't just mean that like, I love you. I'll do some of that too, because I am a kissy, huggy auntie. But it means that I may do things that are difficult for me to do. I may make some sacrifices. I may choose to behave in a certain kind of way because I love. So it's about what you believe, not about what you feel, because the feelings are transitory. The moon changes signs every couple of days. Today it's in Leo, tomorrow it'll be in Virgo. That's because the moon represents feelings. Feelings change. So when we have these marriages and everybody is, and I love you. A lot of times I'm like, they don't even know what they're saying. They don't really know. They haven't really thought about, they're thinking about the good feeling. Love is not about feeling good. Love is about discerning your values and how you're going to behave. So if your husband cheats on you and then you go take revenge by cheating on him, that's not about he hurt your feelings. This is how you roll. This is you don't do dialogue. You get angry.
Well, I
don't
want
think
to,
I
speaking
said
of
that
love,
well,
though,
but I'm gonna work on my presentation about love.
speaking about love, as tragic as the events on Monday were with the young man DeMar, it was good to see for me, and I'm sure a lot of people, for the country, the outpouring of love. I have never seen, not just the NFL, but the country as a whole, united so much over one event to support this young man in his recovery. It's been all across the NFL in every game, as you can see. If you're watching the NFL today, like a lot of people, and even he touched on the outpouring of love that him and his family was receiving from all over the country was absolutely incredible. So that was a beautiful thing to see.
That's true, because it united the opposite teams. I understand both team members are wearing his number on their
His number.
jersey, not just his team, but the opposing teams. And that, you're right, Shaheen, that's an outpouring of love.
It was definitely a beautiful thing to see. And again, just to see the young man recovering was a beautiful thing. I think at last check, he's breathing on his own now. He's able to communicate. He's writing. I think he's talking. And if you were watching that game like I was, I'm gonna be honest. I thought he died on the field. That's how bad it was. I thought he was dead. The memory of it just bringing back emotion. Like, wow, I've been watching football since I was a little kid. I have never seen that.
But when you have to resuscitate somebody, they did die. He was just resuscitated twice. So that's exactly what you saw. And so the emotion that you feel behind it is a warranted emotion. That's exactly what you saw. They resuscitated that young man twice at 24 years old. For him to have had a cardiac arrest from playing football is interesting, and you go back to, like you said, Aunt Debbie, about diets and what they're eating and what they're doing and, all that stuff. So all of that plays a part in what happened, because the tackle was a normal tackle. It wasn't nothing dirty behind it. It wasn't nothing malicious. They didn't do nothing extra as he got off, nothing. They tackled, he stood up, and he fell back. Plain and simple, so I sat there and watched it the entire time until they totally decided that the game wasn't going to be replayed, wasn't going to be restarted.
Did they stop the game?
Yeah, they stopped. They canceled it altogether. So the game wasn't even, so they was talking about making up the game, but they canceled it altogether. So, there it went. But yeah, I saw the entire thing from start to finish. And that was a tragic, sad thing to see.
Wow.
Again, we're happy to see the young man getting better. And I was watching the Buffalo Bills play their first game back just a few minutes ago, and the emotion in the building was incredible. It was really incredible to see. So hats off to the Buffalo Bills. Moving along, though, back to 2022. More events. It was a busy year. This impacted my house, so I have to bring this up. Last year, there was a major shortage in baby formula. And I mean, it was tough. Mothers were scrambling to feed their babies. I mean, it was serious. No different in my house. My granddaughter, we had to scramble around as a family, as a unit, state to state, to try to find baby formula for my granddaughter. In such an advanced country, that was sad. That was really sad. And luckily, my daughter, her husband, and between the rest of the family, we had the resources to make sure that we were able to get it. And I want to bring this up. I shipped a bunch of it through, I believe it was UPS. Don't you know somebody stole the package?
Really?
They stole the whole package.
Oh.
And UPS still hasn't refunded me the money for that.
Wow.
Hundreds of dollars worth of baby formula stolen.
Wow. So, Shaheen, what happened to the carnation milk and water and whatever else that my mother would have fed me? They don't use that anymore? Or is that considered bad now?
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
I
do I?
Auntie, they just don't know about it. Everybody is spoiled by what they have now. They just don't know about it. That's the
Oh, they
bottom
don't
line.
know
They
about
just don't
it.
No,
know
I
about it.
disagree. In some cases, that may be the point, but in other cases, like in my granddaughter's case, she needed a special type of formula.
Okay.
But see, now you're talking about isolated cases. We're talking about overall.
I'm
They just
sorry,
don't
guys.
know
I'm just
about
having a little bit of problem hearing here. I think it's my phone, but or whatever. So just forgive me if I don't catch everything.
it. No
Mhm.
worries. I said you're talking about isolated cases. Your granddaughter needed special formula. Somebody else's child might have needed special formula. But overall, I guarantee you, a lot of them people that were scrambling trying to figure it out don't know nothing about what Aunt Debbie just said. Don't know nothing about it because they spoiled by going to the market and picking up the Similac or picking up the this and just do it. But or the natural way of feeding your child,
Breastfeeding.
that's an option too. But people just
Yeah,
are spoiled. You know what I
and
mean?
here's some naive me. Shows you how much I know about the female body. Me, naive. I admitted people. I just automatically assume all women could give milk, and that's not the case. I never knew that.
Be all women or all
Women, I'm
who
sorry.
have babies?
Yeah, they're all women.
'Cause I
Just
can't give no milk.
there you
So
go.
my-
You got me messed up now.
It's like, oh Lord, something wrong with me because I can't give no milk.
But I never knew that. I just assumed that because women have tits that they could automatically just give milk, and that's not always the case.
Breasts.
Some is harder. It's harder for them to lactate, but there's things to do. Right? You said tits.
Oh, was that a bad word? I'm sorry.
Well, no, it's not a bad word at all. Not in my book.
Right.
not in my book. Oh, breast. I'm sorry, breast. My bad.
It clicked in. You know.
Breastises.
Breastises. There you go. But just show you how. And we got to get more in touch with the sisters and know what's going on with our sisters' bodies, because some of us is in the dark, like me, about a lot of things. Of course, I've been married 15 years. I learned a lot now. Well, first of all, I learned that women's bodies ain't just for sex. Let me be careful because my wife's watching. But yeah, not all women can give milk, and so
happy
that
you learned that.
Oh.
I'm happy you learned that.
When I was a younger woman, I told my brother Peter that I had decided that I wasn't going to have any children.
Hmm?
And oh my God, he was like horrified. And he said, well, what's your body for then? What's your body for?
Oh, wow.
So I said, well, when Darlene is in between children, what is her body for? Like, really? So we had ourselves a moment there because I had decided I wasn't having any children. And for him, that was the weirdest thing he had ever heard.
Right.
If you're reading the comment that my wife just put up,
get it together.
I got myself in trouble, obviously.
Right. Get it together.
And
get it together.
And she quickly corrected me. Sorry, I apologize. Every year has been a dream.
And we know he loves you, Terry, because he brings you into our time all the time. Like he's always speaking of you.
I don't
and
think
I
there's
think
a show that has skipped a beat that hasn't been.
We know he's connected.
Right.
Thank you, guys. Thank you to my co-host for saving me. I appreciate that.
we wouldn't be co-pilots if we couldn't do it. You know what I mean?
No, that's right. If we couldn't pick that one up, we text each other real fast. Fix it.
Look,
Fix it, DJ Boom. Fix it.
Well, thanks again.
Shaheen, You are really such a darling. I'm not saying you're not a darling, DJ Boom, but
Yes, all right.
Shaheen is so innocent and vulnerable. And
I'm not
so,
trying to be innocent.
some of the things that come out of his mouth comes out of his genuine darling. Yes, you know, like
Well, thank you very
he's
much.
just, you know, I enjoy it. I enjoy it.
I
It's
enjoy our
fake. It's not real.
conversations all the time. But before we walk away from baby formula, I just want to mention this too. Because my niece recently, I mean, just recently had a problem finding baby formula for her baby. And this is months later. So to the US government, I don't know what y'all got going on behind the scenes, but this is horrible. This is unexcusable. It's been months later. Let's get it together so we can feed these babies.
But you know, I think Boom indicated that this dependence on the government feeding our babies something that's not natural. There are other ways for babies to get milk,
Right.
and you know, somebody maybe Darlene still remembers, or maybe we can. That would be Boom's mom, if it's okay for me to say that.
That's
If
perfectly
it's
fine.
not, oh my bad. Or Google it. That there are other ways of feeding babies than relying on the government, and you know, we give the government their power,
Way
so
too
we
much
can
power.
take some of our power back
I can
by
agree to that.
finding alternative
I can agree
means.
with that. We need to be a little
I mean, because
self-efficient.
they made us dependent on government or and what is it called? Corporate America made us dependent on baby formula. Somebody was making money off of that, and then
Absolutely.
we became dependent on it. There are
It
other
seems
ways.
that way. It seems that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's about they were making money. They weren't doing the baby formulas for our good. I used to make my siblings milk, whatever it wasn't hard. I never thought, oh my God, this is so tedious. It was water and carnation milk and
Carnation
some.
milk, yeah.
It may have been something else that I don't remember. But then they came out with Similac where you don't even have to boil the waters. And we were like, I mean, look, I'm in support of Pampers and stuff like, and you know, things like that. But at the same time, we let people make us dependent.
I
Right.
agree. I agree. Yeah, well said. I agree. I know we're getting pressed for time, and Boom, you got a memorial you want to do. But before we get into that, I just want to mention this real fast, and then we'll just go right into that. Brittany Griner was another big topic yesterday. I'm a huge basketball fan, so I just wanted to bring her up. We're happy to see her home after being stuck in Russian prison for I forget how long it was,
9
but it was a
months.
good while.
I'm happy to see her home.
Yeah, because it couldn't have been easy being prison over Russia.
Yeah.
Let that be a lesson. You can't do everything you do in the United States everywhere else. Let
Mm,
that be a
No,
lesson.
but I believe the Russians trapped her up because she was going over there to play basketball. And granted, she probably shouldn't have what she had, but 10 years in prison, G. Come on.
Listen, it is what it
yeah.
is
Come
at the
on.
end of the day.
But at the
It
same
is what it
time,
is at the end of the day.
listen to Boom.
Listen, it's illegal to kiss if you're not married in China. It's illegal to kiss out in public. So, as stupid as it may sound to us, because over here we can do it, over there it's illegal. So if you go over there unmarried and you kiss it out in the streets and you get arrested, they say they gave me 5 years for kissing in the street. Guess what? It's illegal over there. Learn your stuff before you go in these other countries. That's my advice to everybody. Learn the country.
And let's
before you
face it,
go over there.
it happened
You
at the
can do
wrong time,
everything
too,
you do
because
here.
the war just broke out. And Russia was going to
Absolutely.
use her against us. Let's
Absolutely.
face it. I
That
think the
too.
best solution to it all, and a lot of people brought this up, it's time for the NBA to step up and start paying the girls a little more so they won't have to go overseas in the off season to make
agree.
extra money.
I
I
agree.
think that's the best solution to it all, and hopefully they do.
I agree with that. Just
All right,
Know
boom,
where
you
you
set up
go.
a memorial for us, right?
One quick thing, as long as we're talking about bad news, the overturning of Roe v. Wade. We don't have to discuss it now, but I want to mention that
Good.
as something important that happened this year,
Which
along with all the good news we don't have time for.
it's retarded. Like what?
We can talk
How you
about that
gonna tell
another
somebody
show.
what to do
No,
with their
that was
body?
a big one. That was a
Yeah.
big one. Of course, we're all upset about it. Obviously, no one's happy about it, and I think I saw somebody mention that the fact that that the results of it are yet to be seen, and we're going to see it in the future.
Hmm.
And all of that is for a reason. Hate to say it, but it is. It's for a reason.
For us who've been on this planet long enough, we remember years ago. Well, heard about what it used to be before Roe v. Wade and how women used to give themselves abortions at homes and things, and we don't want to see none of that coming back.
No.
No,
Let me
not
see
at
if I
all.
can get this file to open up. I don't know how. There we go. I'm gonna pause it for right now, but you go ahead and finish what you got to say, cuz.
No, I got nothing more to say right now. Listen, 2022 was a big year all the way around. There's more that we could talk about, people. We can make this a 2-part show. It's so much to talk about. We're not going to do that, but we could. But we also want to recognize the people who passed away in 2022. Some big names passed away, and that's what DJ Boom wanted to do, and so he's got a memorial set up for us. Oh wow, yeah, that was big. That was big. I forgot she passed away. Oh, I remember.
Who was he?
I forgot what he played on.
I remember him. Oh yeah, the baseball player. I do remember him.
She's from Fleetwood Mac, I believe.
Yeah, she did. Oh, how beautiful she was.
She always remind me of Steely, Aunt Debbie.
Yeah, I can see that.
Huh? I didn't know he passed away.
Voice back, the 90s back.
Right. Oh wow. Oh yeah, that's right.
Nick Carter's brother.
His brother. Right. That hurt me right there. That really hurt me right there. What happened to that young man? He was a wild man.
Great balls of fire.
That was a funny guy there.
Yeah, my wife loved him on I forget which show it was. On his recent show, but she loved him. She really did. I wasn't aware that he passed away.
Yep.
Oh wow. Angela Lansbury.
96 years old.
Yeah, wow. Young too, honestly. 96. I remember watching Bernard Shaw when the first Iraq War first broke out in the early 90s. He was on CNN every day.
And speaking of that, now that was one that caught me off guard. I didn't know she passed. Simiaki. Listen, you talking about some smell good stuff, boy.
That was, yeah. That's right. Vince Scully. Oh my! Oh, the most rings ever. 11 rings, people, as a player coach. Michelle Nichols. Wow.
Okay.
Another beautiful black woman. I wasn't aware he passed away.
Leave it to Beaver.
Leave it to Beaver. Of course, we all know Paul Smith. For those who watch gangster movies,
Right.
we all know Paul. All right, Goodfellas. Good Sopranos.
Oh, I didn't know he.
James Caan, yeah. I think the movie I remember him most from is Elf.
And her husband got credit for those big eyes for a long time.
Oh yeah, you're right. I gotta admit, he was one of my favorite actors.
That's another gangster
Never
right
heard
there.
of him.
Ray Liotta?
Yes. $101. God bless him. Naomi Judd, I gotta recognize her and her contributions to music. Sad story.
Seinfeld.
Yeah, I definitely remember that. That voice, how could you forget?
Right.
Oh yeah.
I forgot the group.
He died on tour, I think, right?
Yeah, I forgot the group though that he's from.
Wow. Right.
Bad guy.
Yeah.
You know who that is, right?
I recognize the face. The movies don't come.
Greatest American Hero. Believe it or not.
Oh, right.
That's he's from Sesame Street.
Sesame Street. Yeah. said at O'Hara. Wow.
I didn't know she.
I wasn't aware either. Oh, what happened to that young lady was so sad. So sad.
Tell me after the show, because I don't know.
Louis Anderson. Oh wow, yeah. Andre Tower. Another big name in the fashion world. Oh, Ronnie Spector. The Ronettes, I think, was a group, right? Poor Bob Saget. Sidney Poitier, the legend himself. The legend himself. Oh, I do remember.
Oh, I'm trying to think of the show. I'm trying to think of the show, bro.
Oh, right. I remember. I remember his past. Oh, right, yeah. I remember his passing too. My wife brought his passing to my attention. beautiful, Boom.
Well
Thanks
done.
a lot.
Well done, Boom.
The first thing that I recognize is how young some of these people passed away. That's pretty sad. Just a reminder to everybody out there, life is not promised to any of us. We've been fortunate enough to reach another year, whatever that means, this milestone 2023, reaching 2023. Let's make the best of it. Let's make sure we love each other, like Aunt Debbie said, love our loved ones, keep everybody close to us, and just appreciate one more year, one more day, man.
Okay.
Amen.
Yeah. All right, time to round it up. DJ Boom, what you got going on next week?
Next week, oh my goodness, I'm just super busy. I'm busy every day. I got to be back at I'm at the Olive Branch every day. I feel like now. So I'm there tomorrow. I'm back at the Windsor Inn on Tuesdays, Loafers on Wednesdays, Olive Branch on Thursday, Olive Branch on Friday. I feel like I'm there every day, but I'm back at 100% working every day. So I'm excited about that. And tonight, after the show, that's why you see this background behind me. We're getting ready to do my silent sip and paint, which will have a room full of folks in here painting while listening to music and the silent headphones. So that's what's happening tonight from 4 to 8.
Staying busy like you normally do.
I have to. I have to. This is how I eat.
All right.
This is how bills get paid.
Well, Deb, you got something special going on this week?
Well, I'm hitting the studio. I've been invited to be in a art exhibition in March. So I need to produce a few new pieces. So it's studio time.
Uh-oh.
How about you, Shaheem?
Me, the usual. I got a lot going on behind the scenes, people. I have new music that I've recorded that's going to be being released. But most importantly, I established my record company. And so my song Weightless that y'all know that will be released February 1st, the start of Black History Month, nationwide on in all outlets, in all stores. Along with that, my EP soon will be following with all the rest of my music. So I got a big year coming. Look out for Weightless. It's there for you guys to get. Well, it's still free because it's not going to be free forever.
I'm waiting to pay for it.
You'll never have to pay for it. That's
want
for sure.
to. That's what aunties do.
Well, thank you very much, Auntie. I'm going to give it to you anyway, but thank you very much. But for everybody else out there watching, if you want to get it now because it will be for sale starting February 1st, along with all the rest of my music. And other than that, I got other things coming, but we'll talk about that in the future. I got to get a few more things settled. Staying busy behind the scenes. That's what I'm up to, people. And continue to watch the show. We have a big year planned for you guys. We want you guys to contribute more. If you have any ideas for future shows, we're all ears.
And keep tuning in. I'd like to thank, because I'm sure they're watching. First of all, I'd like to thank Terry for always tuning in when it's time to get on. I would like to thank Renell and Angela. I'm sure they're watching as well. And whoever else I can't see who you are and you're not making it known who you are, thank y'all for continuing to watch the show.
And there you have it. From the treacherous three of the DMV. Thanks for watching, guys, and spending your Sunday with us. You guys have a great rest of the weekend, and we will see you on next week. Bye, everybody. Listen to us on your way to work tomorrow.